the whole set. Introducing Buddhism within 1 hour is difficult. Because I can't tell you, to be vegetarian, to be vegetarian, to be pacifist, to chant some mantras. These are what we call Buddhism. That's not it at all. Not at all. Buddhism is not, being vegetarian is got nothing to do with Buddhism. Otherwise, many of these, these vegetarian fanatics, they would have achieved enlightenment already. This is not to say being non-vegetarian is also Buddhism. Nothing to do with that. In fact, I will tell you, strictly speaking, following the Gautama Buddha is got nothing to do with Buddhism also. Really. Strictly speaking. Buddha himself said, you are your own master. No one is your master. And I will tell you something. The Buddhists talk about emptiness. And there's some Buddhists think, now that's quite special. That's Buddhism. No, actually not. Unless it's taught in a sort of more complete, just emptiness, kind of empty. It's got nothing to do with Buddhism. I mean, that alone would not qualify Buddhism. So, in order to establish the complete Buddhist view, Buddha himself have categorized things into 4, what he called 4 seals. All compounded things are impermanent. That's the first seal. All things put together. Basically, anything that is a product of more than one thing put together is impermanent. Even as it begins. For instance, even, putting together of 2 things, for instance, like the paper. When each page, the paper, was a separate entity, and when this is put together, the shape of this automatically changes, isn't it? Automatically. For instance, let's say, see, now I put together, so the shape has changed from this to this. So we are talking in a very precise sort of level of impermanence. So that's the first seal. Everything that is compounded is impermanent. Not only the death, even the birth, existence, everything. That's one view. Okay, now how does that help? That works with the shamatha that we are doing, right? Maybe that's your question. Oh, it works. See, now the Buddhists think, based on the first view, the Buddhists think like that. Okay, everything that is compounded, everything that's put together is basically impermanent, meaning uncertain. They are not, uncertain, unpredictable. You cannot trust. Never. Any small situation can change everything. So basically, nothing, basically anything that is compounded, you cannot trust. So, what do we do? This very knowledge is what we call revulsion or renunciation. Remember, the South Beach diet people, they renounce, what was it? Rice. Yeah, like that. Here, in this case, everything that is compounded. Now, in this case, when we say renounce, we don't mean you try to go away from Vancouver to somewhere, I don't know, somewhere like a Whistler or something, or a Kathmandu or somewhere, where you escape. You cannot. Everywhere you go, Whistler, Squamish, Kathmandu, Bodh Gaya, everything is compounded phenomena. You cannot escape from the fact that all compounded things are impermanent. So what can you do? It is not the impermanent that bothers you. It is not. Impermanent is just a phenomenon. It's just a what do you call it? It's just a situation. That is not that gives you pain. So what is it that gives us pain? For us, when we look at something impermanent, we don't think that it is impermanent. We think it's permanent. That misunderstanding bothers us. That misunderstanding destroys us. So, what do? We renounce this kind of misunderstanding. Very difficult, I'll tell you. That's very difficult, to renounce this kind of, eternalist clinging is really difficult. Because I still believe that in 2 days I'll go to San Francisco. I've booked the ticket, everything. I think, my car will move and I will eventually arrive there. Although I have not one single solid reasons to prove that all of this will independently work. But I have that strong clinging that these will work. And that clinging is what I'm supposed to renounce. Yeah? So, now, let's go back to the shamatha. So what does shamatha do? Shamatha, one of the main purpose of the shamatha is what we call make the mind workable. Right now, our mind is like a piece of wood. Cannot bend, it's not bendable. It has a certain way of thinking and that's it, you are stuck with it. We are also stubborn. This is the only way we think. Not workable. What does shamatha do? Shamatha makes your mind bendable. By the way, the method is same. Method is same. Watching your breathing in and out, or choose any object, doesn't matter. But since it's a sort of a non-worldly, it's good to choose something slightly better than somebody's head, or I don't know, statue of the Buddha would be good. Or, the classic standard object is the breathing in and out. But anyway, so, right now, our mind is like a piece of wood or a piece of stone, so stubborn, not bendable, not malleable. Therefore, we look at things that are actually impermanent, but we stubbornly, like a piece of wood, think that they are permanent. And that is something that we have to crush. And that's why we do shamatha. You understand? Yeah. Okay. Second view is all emotion that springs or that stems out of clinging to ego is pain. All emotions are pain, basically. Yes, It might begin well, you know, some of them, like especially such as compassion, devotion, love, song, I don't know, all of that. But the culprit, the ego clinging, as long as it's there, it's eventually going to become a bad news. That's for sure. As long as there is a clinging to the self. It could be devotion, it could be very, very philanthropic, compassionate, all of that. But it will always disappoint you. Why? Because any emotion that comes out of ego clinging has to be either hope or fear. And a hope and fear is both equally an assumption. And wrong assumptions most of the time. And hope, let's say, when you have so much hope for whatever you do, and it's strongly backed by clinging to the self, disappointment is inevitable. Actually, and then of course there's other matters such as greed. Let's say you want to, I don't know, you want to gain something. You want to gain some friends, I don't know. You want to talk to someone. That was your hope. Very simple. You talked. Good, very good. You should be just sort of stop there if you could, if you can. But of course we will not. We want to get an inch or a feet closer. So there's a new hope, right? So then it gets closer and closer and closer. And of course you will use all kinds of tricks and games to make things closer. Either you get close to him or her, or you somehow do something. We are very good at this. To make the other person come closer to you and make them feel that actually it is you who sort of did the service of coming closer to them. Stuff like that. Anyway, we do a lot of this, and the result is lots of tears and lots of disappointment and all of that. You know this. And you know, of course, things goes messy, and if you check, you will know that this is because all these emotions have come from basically one way or another clinging to the self, clinging to your own self. That's the second view. Okay, shamatha. What does shamatha do now? Again, you just watch the breathing in and then out, in and out. That makes your mind workable, malleable, flexible. By making this mind flexible, what does it do? You see, there's a lot of information here. See, generally, we sort of cherish the so-called spiritual path. I mean, generally, when we cherish a spiritual path, or our pursuit of a spiritual path is also something to do with the clinging to the self anyway. We just want to get enlightenment because so that we don't have to suffer, something like that, right? So, all this information that clinging to self is not good doesn't really go inside us. it comes very close and then it sort of goes somewhere else. Some of them, even it goes inside. Inside, there are lots of interpreters, editors, who will cut and paste and change the wordings and say, oh yeah, that's okay, you know, that's fine. You know, sort of, they call it encouragement, isn't it? Yeah, encouragement. Stuff like that. So, it's very difficult to hear, accept, chew this bitter egolessness and this bad, this kind of bad news about self-clinging. It's very difficult. Why? Because your mind is not workable. As you do the shamatha, more and more you have power, and then actually all this makes sense first, as you hear. And not only it makes sense, then you begin to actually feel, a little bit of, feel comfortable with, you might even begin to, oh yeah, actually, not having clinging to the self might actually make me even happier, or something like that. I don't know. It's a very meditational experience. You have to experience yourself. So that's what happens if you do the shamatha. Shantideva said in the meditation chapter, he said this. The third view, everything is emptiness. That's what Buddha said. Now that's very difficult to explain, very difficult, especially for the beginners. But anyway, I've thought about this example. Probably it will not work, probably it will. Basically, it means to be, middle path, madhyamika, middle way. Middle way. Now, middle way can be quite misleading. So let me give you this example. There is a two path, There is a two path, and you want to be in the middle. The two paths are, one is founded by, what's his name? Rupert Murdoch, is it? Rupert Murdoch, yes. Rightist, Fox News, I don't know, Wolfowitz, Donald Rumsfeld. Oh, incredible guru lineage there is. There's all of that. And then the other path is headed by Michael Moore, leftist. Many people from Santa Cruz, such as. And I don't know, hippie-dippies, Buddhists, stuff like that. So there's this two paths. You understand? There's a Rupert Murdoch path and then Michael Moore path. What Buddha, in the third view, what he is saying is this: to be in the middle. Now, the question is this. Okay, so we have to what? Get a little bit from Rupert Murdoch and then get a little bit from Michael Moore and make a sort of more balanced path? No, never. What Buddha is saying is both of them doesn't work. That's what. So middle path means to practice that Rupert Murdoch doesn't work, Michael Moore doesn't work. That is the middle path practice. Madhyamika practice, that is the emptiness practice. Thinking, not falling into this trap of Rupert Murdoch or Michael Moore, whoever. Because either of them. I know already you are thinking, oh yeah, but Michael Moore is good. Many of you. Yes. I already can read, yeah. Rupert Murdoch, he's just the rightist, like fanatic and all of that. But poor, teddy bear like Michael Moore with his baseball cap. I mean, how can we condemn him? This is what you may be thinking. But if you want to learn Buddhism, and especially the third view, that this is the third view, both doesn't work. All the systems doesn't work. There is no solution. But by the way, it's got nothing to do with anarchism or, like pessimism, nothing. Anarchism and, I think this kind of path believes in a path. Here, your path is all these paths that comes out of selfishness, that's coming from clinging to the self, doesn't work eventually. That's your path. That's our path. So, important to know, our job is, if you want to know the third view, it has got nothing to do with blending the right and left and making into a middle path. No. Completely discarding, abandoning, and going beyond right and left, going beyond virtue and non-virtue, going beyond, all kinds of dualistic phenomena, all kinds of dualistic distinctions is what we call the middle path. That's difficult, very difficult. The reason is we just don't have language. Every language that we have right now is either belong to Rupert Murdoch or Michael Moore. So very difficult to get into our system. But it's not hopeless. You can study both and learn how they are trapped when you are doing the hearing and contemplation and contemplation. Okay? How does that work with the shamatha? Very well. In the shamatha, especially on this level, okay, we are talking about uncommon shamatha, remember? On this level, what are you doing here? You are just watching the breathing in and out. You are not saying that, the first breathing is good. When you breathe out, you are not saying, oh, this is bad. You are not supposed to. Anyway, you are not making judgment. You are not trying to find an answer to a problem of the world, sort of moralistic. It's nothing to do with moralistic. Watching your breathing, your breath in and out, got nothing to do with moral or ethic. It's just a technique. You just watch that. And as you watch that, what does it do? Because you are not making judgment, you automatically, gradually, you let yourself free from both Rupert Murdoch and Michael Moore. And then you become sober, basically. And I think that's the best thing I can do about emptiness, especially for the beginners. Otherwise, it's too much. So, for those who are new, if you happen to read a word emptiness, and if you don't know what that means, it means freedom from Rupert Murdoch and Michael Moore. That's the best thing I can do at the moment. Now, the fourth, the most complicated. And I don't know how the shamatha works here. I don't think so, because that's a result level anyway. Anyway, since I'm introducing Buddhism, I might as well just say it. Because this is the important one. Buddha said, nirvana is beyond extreme, or beyond extremes. Nirvana is beyond extremes. What does he mean by that? Several things. Okay. What are we doing here, all these Buddhists? What are we looking for? Oh, everybody says nirvana, enlightenment. You see, those common shamatha practitioners, they have a much easier answer. What are you looking for? Relaxing mind. I just want to be relaxed. I just want to gaze at sunset and relax. Much easier. But for the Buddhist, what do we want? What are we looking for? Enlightenment. What is that? What is enlightenment? For many of us, enlightenment is like a product of some distant future, isn't it? Most probably, when we die, then if you are a good Buddhist, you will go to enlightenment. Very theistic thinking, of course, but that's, when you think, when I die, I will go to, if I'm good Buddhist, then I will go to enlightenment. I would say slightly tainted by, what's his name, Rupert Murdoch, this one. But then there's also Michael Moore kind of thing also, I have met mostly sort of ex-junkies and hippies. Oh, everything's perfect. What do you want more? This is enlightenment, sort of make-believe kind of enlightenment. Imagine that everything is enlightened like that. Imagining everything is colorful, I don't know, rainbow. I forgot the terms anyway now, all of that. Anyway, those are, again, left-wing enlightenment. Leftist enlightenment. So we don't want that. So what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is beyond extreme. Now that means a lot. Enlightenment, I believe, actually is when, let me put this in a different way. I think enlightenment is nothing special. When you finally realize that all this time, this burden of needing to be special is finally shrugged off, sort of, like this. Shrug off, is it? Shrug off? Like shrug off. When you finally manage to shrug off this burden to be special, maybe you are closer to the enlightenment. Closer, I should say. Otherwise, yeah. So, it's neither bad nor good. Yes, I found it. I must say this. Michael Moore's enlightenment, Michael Moore School's enlightenment is continuous orgasm. That's what it is. That's not, huh? The Buddha Shakyamuni, no. Buddha Shakyamuni's enlightenment is when you are free from needing to be special. a very concept of special is no more. You understand? That is enlightenment. So, what is third eye? You see, third eye, oh, special. Halo, special. What else? Flying on, walking on the water? Yeah, walking on the water, special. Sleeping on the nails, on the bed of nails, special. Nothing. We don't want to be special. So, Buddhism is a path, a gradual and direct path to really, the final aim is to be not special. It's kind of disappointing, isn't it? Anyway, I didn't make this up. I have a backing of people like Milarepa. Of course, the Buddha himself, he said, in the Diamond Sutra, he said that. And he said, in the Prajnaparamita Sutra, he said, all phenomena are like a dreams and like illusion. Enlightenment is also like a dream and illusion. If there is anything better than enlightenment, that is also like a dream and illusion. Yes. So we should try not to be special. I think the Taoists talk like that. Taoism, a little bit. So, let's connect this to the shamatha. Actually, it does work. When you are doing the shamatha, what are you doing? Nothing special. You are not chanting mantras, you are not channeling. You are not. That's what I was saying earlier. If you have a special feelings, special dreams, special sensation in your what do you call it, belly, belly button, what the button, yeah, butterflies coming up and down, stuff like that, or you feel like I don't know, some kind of sensation, light. Oh. Not good. You are slightly tempted by Michael Moore. These are Michael Moore school. Light, experiences, compassionate, and all of this. In the shamatha, you just watch this completely non-special breath, air going out and in through your completely non-special, the nostril, which is actually located below your absolutely not special nose, which is sitting on your completely not special face, and so on and so forth. Not special at all. Just watch that. And every time your mind wants to become special, that's a distraction, so you come back. You come back to this. And this is why